What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today. We're going to pour up some Bardstown Disco Series number 7, a sample I got from one of my Patreons here while we go over the 5 whiskeys that I'm hunting this whiskey hunting season. Whether you know this or not, right around now is when all the good stuff starts to drop. So we're going to go over my list of the 5 whiskeys that I'm hunting this winter. First things first, big shout out to Whiskey Camper for sending me this sample of Bardstown Disco Series number 7, 114.5 proof. I've only had the Fusion 4. I haven't had a Disco Series, so I'm excited to try this to see if I should add it to my hunting list this season. But let me go over the rules for what we're putting on our hunting list. We're taking BTAC and all of that kind of stuff out of it. You know, everybody wants a Thomas H. Handy or an Eagle Rare 17. I get that. Let's take that off the hunting list, especially here in Pennsylvania. That's more of a raffle type of deal than an actual hunt. So we're going to go over 5 whiskeys, and it should be 4 bourbons and a whiskey because only one of these is a rye. But let's get right into it. Everybody knows, time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. I'll tell you what, I'm probably going to start hunting the Disco Series too. This is literally making my mouth water. It's so good, and I want to take another sip. Listen, if I already had the bottle in my collection, I wouldn't be hunting it this winter, but I'm sure you can guess what I'm talking about with this bottle right here on my table, and that's right, it is Russell's Reserve 13. Now, Russell's Reserve has always had a special spot in my heart, let alone Wild Turkey in general. It's just such a great distillery, so much heritage, so much history. They have everything from $25 bottles of 101, which is absolutely delicious, all the way up to single barrels like this, store picks. You've got everything in between as well. We've got the Kentucky Spirit. We've got the WB Saffel. We've got Ryes, everything that you can ask for coming out of Wild Turkey. And they're just adding one more thing to the collection when it comes to the Russell's Reserve 13. Now, originally, this was talked about as being a once-off release. It was only going to be released once, and then they came out and they disputed those rumors, and they decided this is going to be an annual release, which is good for people like me, because when you have those one-off releases, it's very rare that it trickles down to somebody like me in the industry where I can actually get my hands on it. So Russell's Reserve 13 is coming in at 114.8 proof. It's at least 13 years old, which is right in my wheelhouse on an age statement. It's coming in around that $100 mark, and this is one of the few bottles that I think I would personally pay over MSRP for. New Jersey already got their hands on it. New York, I know, is dropping right around now. It should be here in Pennsylvania, either in stores or an online drop relatively soon. Now, when that's going to happen, who knows? But at the same time, I would definitely go to New York or New Jersey or Delaware and probably pay in the upwards of $150 for this bottle, which is rare for me to say because I hate paying over MSRP. That being said, I do not want to miss out on this bottle. This is complete FOMO when I talk about paying over MSRP for this, but I believe that this bottle is going to be worth it, especially for me, because again, Wild Turkey and Russell's Reserve is absolutely one of my favorite bottles that I currently have in my collection. So I think the 13 is going to be up there with one of my favorite bottles of all time. That being said, let's get into bottle number 2, which is our only rye on the list. Let's do it. So bottle number 2 that I will be hunting coming this winter is a Midwinter's Night Dram. It will be Act 10, and this is a 2-for-1 because they actually have 2 different Act 10s coming out this winter. That's right, High West will be coming out with Act 10 as well as Act 10 the Encore. I will take either one of these bottles if I can get my hands on them. This was Christmas in a bottle when I drank it last year. It's a finished rye. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be finished in this year, but I know I will be making sure that I get a bottle if I can. So I know that High West was moving away from sourcing their product and creating all of their distillate on their own. I don't know if Act 10 will be 100% their product, but I know that they're moving in that direction. I'm excited to get this bottle, even at $129. I think it's a fair price for this. They're delicious. They're an annual release. High West does some great stuff, especially with their Rendezvous Rye, which is what they're using to finish in these bottles. Now, I will say I thought the 98.6 proof was going to be a bad proof for this bottle, but it absolutely wasn't. It was perfect the way it is. I think once you finish that rye in these barrels, again, I'm not sure if it's going to be the port barrel finishes again, but I'm not even the biggest port barrel finish guy, and I absolutely love this bottle. So this will be my second bottle that I'm hunting this winter. So the next bottle up is going to be a pretty obvious one, Stag minus the Junior, right? Stag batch 18 coming in at 131 proof. We know it's in that 7 to 9 year age range. And again, they're dropping the Junior now that it's the 18th. Maybe it's because it's their 18th birthday. Maybe it's because the George T. Stag from 2020 wasn't good enough, so they started bottling it for Stag Junior and dropped the Junior. That being said, at 131 proof and $60, there's really never a reason to pass up on the Stag Juniors. Again, as long as you're paying at or around MSRP for it. For me, it's more of a comparison type thing. I love to see how a company progresses. I love to see how different batches compare to other batches. People say 12's the best. Other people say 17's the best. So I am excited to see the progression of Stag Junior into Stag and if there is any real big difference. Stag Junior, or minus the Junior now, should be on everybody's hunting list. Again, if you have the opportunity to pay at or around MSRP, and here in Pennsylvania, we're usually pretty lucky that if you do find it, you're paying a good price. This is the part in the video where I tell you if you've made it this far along, please click that like and consider clicking that subscribe button as well. We just hit 3,000 subscribers and we don't want to start here, but let's get into bottle number 4 right now. Bottle number 4, I had to take some notes on for you guys. That's going to be Remus Repeal 6. This is the Remus Repeal 5, and it's honestly one of the best bottles that I have in my collection to date, no questions asked. I absolutely loved this bottle, and you can see right on here, it tells you all the different percentages of all the different bourbons in it. So let's go over all the percentages that are going to be in Repeal 6. Up first, we have 2% of a 2008 bourbon with 21% rye. Then we have 27% of a 2012 bourbon with 21% rye. We have 29% of a 2014 bourbon with 21% rye. We have 17% of a 2012 bourbon with 36% rye. And last but not least, we have 25% of a 2014 bourbon with 36% rye as well. Now, these Remus Repeal projects are supposed to be the best of MGP, or should I say Ross and Squibb, whatever you want to call them at this point, but it's their best and oldest product that they have. And I love the fact that they use high rise. They tell you the percentages and the year of the bourbons as well, because if you want to, I believe when I did my review for the 5, I actually broke it down to the exact percentage of rye throughout the entire bottle. And again, only coming in at $100. And yes, I say only when it comes to this bottle because I think it deserves to be a lot more than that. I will 100% pick up this bottle all day and probably this year buy a backup. I'm not usually one to buy a backup because I don't like spending the extra $100 for another bottle that I've already got to try. But if it's half as good as Remus Repeal 5, I want a backup of Remus Repeal 6. But listen, let's get into bottle number 5, or bottle number 5 and 6, because I'm going to give you a 2-for-1 to end this video. Cheers. And last but certainly not least, for bottle number 5 and bottle number 6, I guess technically 7 if you count the 2 from Midwinter's Night Dram, is going to be the Maker's Mark BRT Series 01 or 02. Now, let me give you a little bit of background with my relationship with Maker's Mark. I did a Maker's Mark versus Weller. We had 3 different Maker's Marks, 3 different Wellers, and I compared them side by side. Now, Weller ended up taking all 3, but Maker's Mark was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, especially given the fact that I don't love like the original Maker's Mark. Then I found Maker's Mark Cask Strength. Now, Maker's Mark Cask Strength made me absolutely fall in love with Maker's Mark. I kind of wrote it off at the beginning on their standard offering, but then you start to work your way through some of this other stuff, the 46. This happens to be a store pick, which is their stave profile, and the different stave profiles give you different flavor profiles, and some you love, some you don't love as much, but the 2 that I have so far, I absolutely fell in love with. That brings us to the BRT01 and BRT02. Now, BRT, I'm not exactly sure what it stands for, but a lot of people are saying it stands for barrel rotation. Now, Maker's Mark is known for rotating over 200,000 barrels a year by hand, which seems like a lot of work for me. It's got to be a better way to do it, but I'm not going to tell this company how to make their whiskey because they make some damn good stuff. Now, BRT01 is apparently the barrels that start at the top of the warehouse, which is going to give you the most temperature shifts, and that's going to give you more of that oaky, toasty, caramel flavor profile that goes along so well with Maker's Mark. And then you have BRT02, which is going to be those barrels at the bottom of the warehouse. This is going to be a lot cooler of a temperature down there, which is going to give you more of those fruity notes, those chocolatey notes, those darker notes when it comes to a bourbon. I got to be honest with you, I'm going to pick up either one of these bottles if I have the opportunity, but I think the BRT02 is going to be the one that I will like better. Hopefully, I'll be able to pick up both bottles so I can try that out. Those are going to be the 5 bottles I'm hunting for this season. If I missed any, or if you have one that I should add to my list, let me know in the comment section below, or just let me know the 5 bottles that you're hunting for this offseason. But listen, that's where we're going to leave you for today. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at Bourbon of the Week. Go click that follow button over there. If you want to come chat with us 24/7, we have a Discord link in the description below. If you want to help support the channel out financially, get some cool perks just for Patreons, click that link as well in the description and come join our Patreon page. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly and stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all. Disco 7.